So I was playing ultrakill and I wondered what it would be like if the different arms had their own variants, just like the weapons. So I made concepts for each of the current three arms and what their variants could be if they had them. So here they are. So starting off with the feedback, of course, my idea for this arm variant is that it would be able to capture projectiles and shoot them out with the different aspects and stuff instead of just parrying them. So, for example, if you captured a normal ore projectile, it will be shot out as a homing projectile that explodes on impact. Or if you captured a shotgun bomb or a mine, they would be able to be shot out as just a burst of multiple smaller ones. And finally, if you captured a Cerberus Bowl or a Dead Virtue, you'd be able to shoot it out in a sort of energy explosion. So imagine like the rail cannon, but as an explosion. Now, as for the feedback of variant's design, it would have a slightly heavier look, so it would be like a middle ground between the normal feedback and the Knuckle Blaster. And it would also have a little box or capsule or just screen of some kind that would be on the hand, and it would have a UI showing what's currently inside. But it wouldn't really matter because it would also have a UI on the actual UI showing what was inside, but it would just be a nice little aspect. Now, moving on to the Knuckle Blaster, its variant would be like a more compact version of the Firestarter. It's more straightforward than the feedback variants, I'll just get into it. It will have a smaller shockwave radius and it wouldn't launch enemies as far, but in return it would have a fire explosion that sets nearby enemies on fire. Although if an enemy was already on fire, it will turn into blue fire and damage them more but slower, and the burn would also be able to pass on to other enemies it touches. Now, as for the design, it would have tubes of oil running into the hole in the arm, along with a small lighter on the front that activates when you punch. It would also replace the little box things on the side of the normal Knuckle Blaster with little oil inside glass, or just little oil canisters. So finally we have the Whiplash, and it's the most complicated one I made out of all three of the arm variants. And it would pretty much be like the normal one, but instead of pulling, it would swing. Now, whenever you grapple into a light enemy, you would start to spin it around yourself. It would start off slow and close by, but as you spin it for longer, it would start getting faster and further away. Now, the actual spinning has three phases. Slow, where you can throw it into walls or another enemy to damage it. Medium, where you can pretty much turn it into a weapon and damage any enemy it hits. When you throw it into a wall or another enemy, it will explode into blood, and this mode will activate 3 seconds of spinning, or activate after 3 seconds of spinning. And finally, high speed, where the enemy pretty much turns into a ranged Knuckle Blaster. When you throw it at enemies, it will make a large damaging shockwave, and as you spin around you, it slowly bleeds, which will heal you very slowly. And now this mode activates 4 seconds after medium speed, but if you keep spinning for more than 4 seconds after it activates, it'll just explode into mush. Now, if you hook into a heavy enemy or a boss, it'll start spinning you around it and will allow you to gain tons of speed quickly. But if you disconnect it after gaining much speed, you could obviously go flying, so it's like a really good dash. But if you looked at the enemy and then dashed towards them instead of disconnecting, you would slam into them, dealing a bunch of damage, and just the faster you were going, the more the damage is, so scales. And obviously there'll be a speed cap and damage cap, but this would also deal 60 damage to you and 50 hard damage, but that would also scale depending on how fast you're going. So might do less, might do more. If the enemy teleports, then it will just automatically make you lose all momentum and disconnect you. If you grapple onto a projectile, it wouldn't do anything other than launch it really fast. But if you grapple onto a cannonball, you would be able to launch it really fast, which would give it piercing through 8 light enemies, 4 heavy ones, and would also leave a trail of destruction behind it. So think of how Minus Prime dashes and leaves a little trail behind him. It's going to be like that, but for the cannonball. Now, finally, for the design of the arm, it will have some sort of wing that connects to a small glove on the hand. That way, he can continuously gain speed. So, that's it for all of my ideas for variations of the arms. So, I feel like they're all pretty good ideas. And yeah, bye.